So, out on my travels, doing some stealth Cobra pirating, I came across a few commanders in a wing who were just doing some general piracy, up to no good, like I was. And I hung around for a bit, looking for people to interdict for a video I was recording, and it wasn't happening, so I challenged these guys to some one-on-one PvP. And Commander Browney was first in his Imperial Clipper. So the build I'm in at the minute was actually my pirate build, not my PvP combat build, so I don't have as much armor as I have had previously, and I've got like cargo space and things like that. I'm also not following some of the rules I set myself about silent running combat, such as turning off some modules. I'm pretty sure I have a cargo scanner, which I haven't turned off, and which it takes up loads of energy, so I don't know why I haven't done that. And I also haven't turned off my life support, even though it's only a small thing. It's still, you know, every little counts. So in this fight and the next two fights, next three fights actually technically, because in this one I've committed a cardinal sin, which you may have noticed on the scanner right now. The cops are on the way. I haven't noticed yet because I forgot to turn report crimes off. So yeah, I feel bad about that. Well, I felt bad about it at the end. I didn't even notice. As soon as I start attacking, I still don't really think about it. So this fight doesn't go too badly to begin with. The problem with the Clipper is that it has, well, the problem for me is that it has so many shield cells, which it keeps spamming and just makes my life very difficult, just because I've got, you know, just because my hardpoint setup. Although these guys here are now helping me out, which is fine. So there's nothing too much to say about this particular fight, because it will end in a stalemate as we both kind of give up and then we have a rematch, because it's just not really fair with the police there. But you know, I've had some successful PvP in the Cobra, which conveniently I haven't recorded. But having said successful, the successful part of it is that they came out in a draw. There's an FDL that I fought for a while. It was a very long match, and in the end, well, they gave up because they couldn't target me, and I gave up because I just could not get their shields down. And we just kind of amicably stopped and then had a chat and you know, sent friend requests and went on our way. So that was nice. So here I managed to get the shields down, obviously with the help of the cops. There's a couple general things that I get wrong in these matches with the stealth kind of build generally, which I want to address, because I want to come back to a stealth build, kind of reassess it and have another go at it. Because it's been a learning experience, and here's when they mention it, and I realise, and I go, oh, yeah, sorry, oopsie, yeah, and this point it was like 2 in the morning for me, and by the end of my last PvP match, it was well after 3, and I was just like, I do not have the stamina for this anymore. It's taken me so long just to find people to pirate. It's quite frustrating. So we come into a new instance, and Commander Browney has his friends here this time watching. At first I thought, oh, are they gonna gank me? I mean, it didn't really matter. I mean, I probably deserved it for bringing the cops in, but I've got report crimes off this time, so This time it should be a fair fight. Now, in the last time he was going backwards quite a bit, and that was one of the main problems. Because the Cobra, although it's fast, getting the speed down to optimum maneuverability level just takes too long. So when I'm trying to boost past him to turn around and come behind him, it just takes way too long. And here I just come to a stop for some reason. Start going backwards. I also, a general thing which I need to do better is when I'm out of his firing arc, I need to be turning silent running off, and I don't do it enough. Like now, silent running's, like, I've only just turned it off there. I need to be turning that off a lot sooner. I also boost way too much when I've got silent running on. I tried to get in the habit of kind of boosting and then putting silent running on, but I definitely don't do it enough. So yeah, that's definitely something to sort out. I have heat sinks, and I'm not sure if it's this fight where I think it might be this fight where I just don't really use them that much. And then in the next ones, I'm like, right, stop being a hoarder and just use them. But I don't make up for using them with better combat ability. In fact, the other matches are slightly worse. I mean, judging by my hull percentage at the minute, so I'm down to 71%. Things aren't going too badly. I mean, I am successfully dodging a lot of hits. You know, because if I wasn't, then he should have popped me ages ago. This is my other problem. I'm a bit too cocky with keeping 4 pips to engines, 2 to weapons. Just so I had the best maneuverability all the time. I need to be putting some into systems every now and again just to help out a little bit. That's just something I need to experiment with more so. I mean, module malfunction becomes the killer in these matches. That's why, pretty much why I die in every one of these matches is, well, enemy ships having shield cells. Well, this Clipper having shield cells at least, and the fact that all my modules just stop me from doing anything. So that's one of the bigger problems. So at the minute, I mean, he's just successfully keeping me in his sights, which is bad for me. It's just, I mean, he's just missing sometimes. I'm lucky with the Clipper because of the poor convergence when the weapons are fixed. I think this is probably one of the ships I'm better at PvPing in this kind of build. Having said that, that FDL I fought once, it just pretty much didn't hit me. I think I maybe lost about 10% of my hull by the end of the match. Whereas this has obviously gotten a lot worse. I think I also, as soon as this went, I was like, oh yeah, why didn't I turn my life support off? Because I didn't really need that on. Since I've got 25 minutes PvP time if I turn that off. Yeah, so things aren't going great here. It all accumulates. All the heat damage over and over again accumulates, and I'm just not keeping on top of that. I mean, I am quite happy with generally how long I last, but you know, I don't expect this to be, you know, totally viable in PvP all the time, but I like to think that it can put up a decent fight when it needs to, and that's what I want to try and perfect. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, you picked the wrong ship for it, but I like a challenge, and I mean, I've said before when I started doing these ship builds that I just like the Cobra. I haven't really used it much before. Well, I hadn't used it at all until I started the stealth build. And I wanted it in black, and I wanted it to look like a stealth bomber. And I was thinking about ways of just not just making it invisible, well, near invisible on the scanner. I wanted to be able to potentially stalk players in a res on, say, the dark side of a planet or something like that. I wanted to not be seen at all. And that's something I still would quite like to mess around with. Yeah, it's not like... I'm thinking less about efficient ways of making money in this game, efficient ways of doing combat. I'm thinking more about kind of cool ways of role-playing, basically. I like the idea of stalking players at a res, and it's something I did do. I think it was in one of my last videos, the piracy video. I edited most of it out, pretty much all of it out, but I was stalking a guy in the res who was mining, and I was stalking him for ages, just the best scanner possible in the Cobra, and I was just at the edge of my range. And sometimes you just got to assume that other players aren't necessarily haven't necessarily upgraded their sensor module, and here you go, I'm dead. But yeah, it was a fun fight anyway. And in the next part, I will go ahead and fight a FDL and a Python. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the black.